because basically this island is cursed. No villager wants to leave. Hello everyone, and welcome back. So today we are decorating around resident services, so let's just get started. This build is going to be an abandoned petrol station, so it's going to have lots of rundown cars next to it. It's going to be made up of like two buildings, or like fake buildings, like two sections of buildings, and it's going to run next to resident services on the left and then behind resident services as well. I wasn't really sure where I wanted to put it to start off with, so I kind of cleared the whole section around resident services because I didn't know whether I wanted to put it to the left, right behind it, or on the right, because on my Citycore Island I had something on the right. I had Able Sisters on the right, and I didn't want it to be exactly the same as Able Sisters. I didn't want it to feel exactly the same, like a carbon copy, just like cut and pasted, but like abandoned city. So I wanted to do something completely different and do a different layout. So this is why I've put it on the left hand side and kind of carried it around resident services. I've also blocked off resident services. You'll see that much later on in the video. I've cut off access to resident services on the left. So this main street that I'm decorating at the moment with all the custom designs to make it look really abandoned, really cracked, and that it used to be the main street, but obviously because it's an abandoned, derelict city now, all of the city pathing is really cracked and derelict, and there's lots of trees growing in the pathing. I've cut off access to resident services on this side, so it looks like resident services like the main hub where people kind of congregate, so that they've kind of like protected resident services type of thing from anybody who wants to try and harm it, if that makes sense. I am taking inspiration from The Last of Us, the TV show. I'm not doing a Last of Us island because I wouldn't know where to start if I was going to do a Last of Us island, but I'm like taking like little bits and pieces and little bits of lore here and there and doing like my own little spin on it, really. And a lovely subscriber called Cloudy is doing a whole Google Doc on lore about this abandoned island, which is awesome, and we're gonna add to it like as we go over this island. They started it because the villager hunt I did last week on my live stream just went terribly wrong, and I started to kick out Boots, and he was in boxes. I was all ready for my live stream, and for some reason when I logged back into Animal Crossing, Boots was not in boxes anymore. He was fully in his house just decorating, and I do not know what went wrong. So I was already a bit late to the live stream, so I decided to try and kick out a villager in this live stream, and it took me half an hour to try and kick out a villager, and I travelled for 14 months, which is ridiculous. For having the very first villager hunt on your island, you should be able to kick out a villager straight away. Like, there should be a villager that wants to just leave. But no villager wanted to leave for 14 months. It was ridiculous. So Cloudy started a lore Google Doc based on this information, because basically this island is cursed. No villager wants to leave, and this island is cursed for me. It is ridiculous. I was so stressed, so anxious, and I'm so glad that I have some lovely subscribers and people that were just so nice on live stream. So thank you so much, because it was getting insane. It really was. So thank you. And we found a cephalobot in the end, which is great. I took all of your suggestions from the entrance build video about which villagers you wanted, and one of the suggestions was having robot villagers as some of the abandoned villagers, and the first villager that we saw was a robot villager, and it was Cephalobot, so I was like, yeah, we'll take him. And I think we went through like 30 tickets, maybe like 20-30 tickets, so still quite a few tickets in the end. Yeah, this island is cursed. It really is cursed. So that is the situation that we're in at the moment. So we're going to do more villager hunts and things like that. But in the meantime, with this build, I am currently placing all of the custom designs. I've kind of done the top tier of the building. It is just the retro train stops at the top, the damaged version and the grey version, just to make them kind of similar, but at the same time they kind of go with the rest of the island, really. And then I'm going to put simple panels around the bottom tier so it blends in, and I can use more custom designs because I have some really pretty custom designs to use. Like there's a closed sign and some like corrugated iron ones and some like broken windows, so I'm gonna use those. And then I had this idea of, on the floor, using the white stripes that I use around the city pathing as like lines for the petrol station, gas station, however you want to call it. And I used those, but like broke them up with the cracked paving things, and they look really good, because I was thinking I'd have to make my own custom designs at that point to make like the little lines, and I really didn't want to. Like, I knew it was going to take hours if I made my own custom designs, and I can do it now because I made the Citycore Island and I made all of those custom designs myself. But it does take hours and it takes a really long time. And with this island, I just kind of want to go back to regular Animal Crossing, where you enjoy other people's custom designs and have fun decorating and building. So I used those white lines and they turned out really well. And I'm really enjoying using different variations of the color variants again. So all the damaged stuff I get to use, which is nice. I've never used that stuff, like all of the petrol pump damaged variations. I've never used those. I've never used the damaged trees before and things, and I've never used like the generators, stuff like that. So that's quite fun. It makes it look more alive, and it makes it look like people have tried to like get the cars started and couldn't, so they've just kind of left stuff around. And I'm kind of putting in every build, I'm kind of putting like a campfire or signs that somebody's stayed there, because I want it to look like people have been there and moved on, or people have camped there for the night, or people do stay there quite often and travel around, because I quite like that aspect of the abandoned apocalyptic worlds that you see on TV, where they just like stay outside and camp and then just kind of like travel wherever. I quite like that, so that I'm going to incorporate that into this build and into all of the builds, which is fun because I get to use like the camp cots and the sleeping bags and things. So yeah, that's quite fun. And I'm just doing some finishing touches and this is the build complete. So this is what the build looks like, all finished. You have to go all the way around. You can't cut through resident services. But I love this build. I think it looks so cool with all the abandoned cars around the petrol station, gas station. You've got like gas canisters and tire stacks around to make it look a bit more like lively. And the buildings look really cool actually. I was really surprised at how good they turned out. And yeah, I really like these cars. The way they look really like damaged, and they look like people have tried to work on them, but obviously nothing's working with them, so they've just been left. And yeah, I will continue this road along to the left, but at the moment, just for this build, I've cut it off. But that is it for this build. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and subscribe if you are new for Animal Crossing and cozy games. Have a fantastic rest of the day wherever you are, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!